Welcome to the Commander Arena. 4 competitors, 4 decks. Today we find out which of those 4 decks is the best of Commander 18. Let's meet our competitors.
I'm Jace the Mind Sculptor, and I'm here to win this match. I don't play blue, I am blue.
I'm Spike. I really couldn't care less about anything except winning. So you better look out.
I'm Johnny. There's not a whole big point to winning. The only thing I'm here to do is have fun and make people regret the fact that they came.
Hi, I'm the Planeswalker Feroz. It would be nice to my academic studies if I won this, and I plan to.
Today they will be playing each of the 4 Commander 2018 decks. First we have Exquisite Invention, featuring Saheeli the Gifted. It's a red-blue artifact-focused deck. Next, Nature's Vengeance, a black-red-green lands matter deck featuring the old Planeswalker Lord Windgrace. Then, there's Adaptive Enchantment, a green-white-blue enchantment-focused deck with Estrid the Masked as its commander. And finally, we have Subjective Reality, featuring Aminatou. It's a control deck that cares about the top card of your deck. A roll of the dice, and we find that Johnny will start us off. Turn 1 sees Johnny playing a Great Furnace, then turning it over to Jace, who plays a Tranquil Cove before handing the game over to Feroz. Jace's deck, Adaptive Enchantment, runs Bant colors and features plenty of strong enchantments and creature auras. There's also good board control cards like Winds of Wrath. Feroz is playing Subjective Reality, a deck that constantly manipulates the top card of his deck. This allows Feroz to harness the power of miracles and includes good card advantage thanks to the likes of Ponder, Portent, and Predict. The ever-competitive Spike is manning Nature's Vengeance. The deck is filled with cards featuring great synergy with lands and boasts good ramp, landfall, and big creatures such as Crash of Rhino Beetles and Avenger of Zendikar. And finally, our combo player Johnny is piloting Exquisite Invention, a deck that seeks to put as many artifacts in play as possible, such as Coveted Jewel, and exploit them to their fullest with cards like Tawnos, Urza's Apprentice. All 4 decks were fairly slow to start off, with only a few non-land cards like Johnny's Swiftfoot Boots and Jace's Ground Seal on turn 2. Johnny is able to put out a Magnifying Glass on turn 3 and Jace a Soul Ring. As for Feroz and Spike, nothing too excited from them yet, as they do little to nothing in the first 3 turns aside from hitting their land drops. Jace is the first to get a commander into play, casting Estrid the Masked. Jace puts Estrid to good use only a moment later, using her -1 ability to put Protective Totem Armor on a newly played creature. Spike was not amused.
This is why nobody likes you.
I'm not listening.
Feroz follows Jace's example and brings Aminatou, the Fate Shifter, into play. He immediately begins manipulating the top card of his deck. Spike gets aggressive, destroying one of Johnny's artifacts, but Johnny doesn't seem to mind. He brings out his commander, Saheeli the Gifted, on the very next turn and plays yet another artifact before passing to Jace, who decides it's time to make a move. Moving to attack and focusing on Feroz's Planeswalker, Aminatou becomes the first commander to fall, marking the beginning of Jace's domination with Adaptive Enchantment. Another mostly uneventful round for Feroz, Spike, and Johnny brings us back to Jace, who manages a little board control against Johnny before putting into play Hydra Omnivore, immediately protecting it with Estrid's Totem Armor. Feroz then has yet another uneventful turn before handing things over to Spike, who plays Grizzly Savage in search of a body to help protect against Jace's threats, then pops his Myriad Landscape to get a land necessary to cast it on the next go-around. Building on his artifact base, Johnny plays Brutaclad, Telcor Engineer, a legendary creature new to Commander 2018, and follows it up with the always popular Steel Hellkite. But would that be enough to disrupt Jace's plans? Seeing how Jace is doing exactly what Adaptive Enchantment is meant to do? Probably not, as yet another enchantment is attached to the Hydra Omnivore. One big attack later, and Feroz, Spike, and Johnny are hurting, though they have not yet given up hope.
No, I ain't went home, stupid.
2 rounds and 2 attacks with an increasingly large Hydra Omnivore later, and everybody but Jace are on their last legs.
I'm moving to combat.
No.
Mr. Spike over there, I'm gonna swing at you with the Hydra Omnivore.
Why me?
Move to damage.
Damage has been done.
Damage is
form
dealt.
of 13 damage to him.
Jace swings with the Hydra at Spike, who has no choice but to take the damage, knocking him out of the game.
Can't believe I lost like that. I got mana screwed. It was the deck's fault completely. I had no part in it.
But thanks to the Hydra's ability,
It's 13 damage to each other opponent.
Feroz and Johnny also take lethal damage.
Tough fought match. I was land blocked almost immediately. She helped me stay alive, but in the end I ended up getting blocked by not using the terminus appropriately. But in the end, it showed me a few weaknesses.
As fun as it was, all I got to do was make stuff, not really get to use them. Next time.
Meaning that Jace and the Adaptive Enchantment Commander 2018 deck are this year's champion.
So, I wasn't sure how I felt about this plane when I got here, but I like it. I won. Keeping a 1-land hand, no big deal. Drew into a forest and then some Hydra Omnivore or something. And then I met this friend, and she helped me with some totem armor. It was kind of cool.
Magic the Gathering's Commander 2018 decks are now in stores worldwide.